Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Nacho Problems, where we turn ordinary recipes into extraordinary nachos. I'm Nacho Queen, but you can call me M. Well, as you can see, I'm still here, and we're still making nachos. The idea for today's episode came from a conversation with my kids, which, interestingly enough, is the same place this whole channel came from. And this might be our silliest episode to date, but today we're making Dino Chickie Nugget Nachos. Now, I'm not sure if these are available in other countries, but dino-shaped chicken nuggets have become a staple food in the diets of many U.S. children. And it's not hard to see why. It combines two of their favorite things, dinosaurs and chicken nuggets. And yes, when I say children, I am including those who might not be classified as kids, but are still very much young at heart. So let's get started. Step 1, the chips. We'll be making homemade dino nuggets for our chips. And for that we need 1 pound ground chicken, a 1/4 cup breadcrumbs, more if you want your nuggets extra crispy, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon Worcestershire sauce, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon paprika, a 1/4 teaspoon onion powder, a 1/4 teaspoon garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon mustard powder, 1/8 of a teaspoon pepper, a cup of flour, about 1/2 cup of milk, and oil for frying. We also need some dinosaur cookie cutters. It's best to have multiple. Start by combining the chicken, egg, breadcrumbs, Worcestershire, and all the spices and mix well. Now, I find this is easier by hand, but a sturdy spoon should work just as well. Please remember, this is raw chicken, which means you should take every food safety precaution when it comes to handling, cooking, and cleanup. I washed my hands so many times during this episode that I might no longer have fingerprints. Once all the ingredients are fully combined, we're going to turn it out onto a parchment-lined baking tray and flatten it out into a sheet of about 1/4 of an inch thick. You don't want your nuggets too thick or they might not get fully cooked. Now we're going to dip our cookie cutter into a bit of flour and then press it into the chicken and leave it there. Then you can scrape the meat from around the outside. Repeat with the rest of your cookie cutters. Then place the tray into the freezer for at least 20 minutes to firm up. This helps the nuggets to keep their shape. Be sure to refrigerate any remaining chicken during this time. Now that our nuggets are semi-frozen, we can use a butter knife along the edge of the cookie cutter to gently separate it from the nugget. Once your nugget is free, you can use the knife to trim up any edges. When you're happy with your nugget shape, you're going to first coat it in flour, then dip it into the milk, then back to the flour. If you want your nuggets extra crispy, add an egg to the milk and replace the second dip into the flour with one into breadcrumbs. Now repeat with your remaining nuggets. Then you can reload your cookie cutters with the next batch and they can be chilling while we cook these. To cook, we're going to heat about 1/4 inch of oil to 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius. You don't want your oil too hot because that could cause them to brown before the inside gets fully cooked. These need about 3 minutes on each side. Be careful when turning so that you don't splash the oil. Again, remember this is raw chicken, so I highly recommend you check these with a meat thermometer. You need the internal temperature to be at least 165 Fahrenheit or 73.9 degrees Celsius. Now just remove them to a paper towel lined plate, and that's our chips. Next up is Step 2, the toppings. Dino nuggets are always better with fries, so we're going to turn those into our toppings. And for that we need some potatoes and some oil for frying. You might also want some salt or other seasoning, but that's optional. The fries need to fit on top of the nuggets, so I'm going to cut our potatoes into small bite-sized pieces. I like to give my potatoes a good rinse before frying to remove some of the excess starch. But whether you do that or not, be sure to pat them dry before frying to remove any excess moisture, since this will keep your oil from boiling up too much. We've got our oil at about 375 again, and we're going to use this spiderweb spoon to gently place the potatoes into the pan. As always, safety good, splashing hot oil bad. Let these fry for about 6 to 8 minutes until golden and crispy. If adding seasoning, do so immediately after removing them from the oil. And that's the topping. The last thing we need is Step 3, the cheese. Now there really is no end to what you could use as cheese. It's basically anything you dip a chicken nugget into. But some options are ranch dressing, ketchup, barbecue sauce, or that sauce from that chicken place. Some other options could be honey mustard, teriyaki, a spicy mayo, or even an actual cheese sauce. Everyone tell me your favorite nugget sauce in the comments below. Well, I think the time has come for Step 4, let's eat. Now these are larger than your average Dino nuggets, so I'm just going to add 2 per plate, but feel free to create a whole Dino diorama if you want. This plate is for Youngson, and he wants ranch. Next up is Oldson, who wants barbecue sauce. Then we'll just top it with some of the potatoes. Now, I know you're all asking, why wasn't Chickie Nugs invited as taste tester? And I was hoping to have him here, but unfortunately it's cold and flu season, and he couldn't be with us today. But I assure you, these two are no less of chicken nugget connoisseurs. You might even say they're Connosaurus Rexes. That, my friends, is 2 very happy customers. They both thought they were really good. The only thing I would want to try different is using the all-white meat chicken and maybe the breadcrumbs for an outer coating. But we're calling this one a success. Well, that's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, give it a like and please consider subscribing if you want to see more nacho videos. If you have an idea for a future video, you can leave a comment below or tag me on the site previously known as Twitter. I'm at NachoProblemsYT. I've also linked my Blue Sky below, but you won't find me on Facebook, Instagram, or Threads. If you're looking to steal my apron, well, that's nacho merch, but you can get your own at a link in the description. Now, these nachos have inspired the boys to have a Jurassic Park marathon. So there goes 12.5 hours of my life. But luckily for you, that's not your problem. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.